Thank you.
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I bear witness that none deserve to be worshipped except for one supreme being, Allah alone, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his messenger and our prophet sent to all of humanity. We ask Allah's exhortations and blessings upon our leader and teacher, that is Muhammad the prophet, and upon his companions, the believers, his family, the righteous people all over the world. Ameen. We are so thankful to Allah, and we thank you very much, Fitra. This is a wonderful program going across the United States and around the world, and many contributors, men and women, are sharing their knowledge and insight from the religion of Islam. This is a miracle. I just had to digress a little bit. You know, we are ex-slaves. We lost our original language and everything. We were totally emptied of our culture, you know, and we still don't know who we are, except for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's sincere essence and Imam W.D. Muhammad that brought us to the Quran. And many people ask him, well, where is Imam Muhammad going? You know, we were the World Community of Islam, then the name changed to the American Society of Muslims, and so on. We had about 4 or 5 different names, you know. So I had the opportunity to ask him. He, myself, and Imam Rama Shaheed, we were together in Miami riding with him. And I asked him, I said, buddy, man, you changed the name of the community over and over, you know. And he said, I was taking you somewhere. So one of us, I forget who it was, asked, Imam, where are you taking us? And Imam says, I was taking you to the Quran. Allahu Akbar. Okay? So if you don't have anything else, tradition, culture, or what have you, you have what causes the mind to develop. And what causes the mind to develop are words. Okay? That's what forms our mind. And the best and the safest word is the Quran, the word of Allah. Nobody can change it. I have challenged people over the last 20 years. I asked them, I said, take every Quran and burn it up across the United States, like that preacher did here where I am in Florida. I was clapping my hands. I said, oh, please, burn up every Quran you got. And some Muslims said, what's the matter with you? Nasir, you lost your mind. I said, we need a modern-day miracle. If you burn up every Quran in the world, it'll come back exactly, because the Quran does not depend on ink and paper. The Quran depends on the hearts of sincere men and women who have memorized it. Allahu Akbar. And this is God's blessing to us. You will never lose the word of Allah ever again, as other scriptures have been changed and lost. So I just needed to say that to you. Okay? And please forgive me for digressing, but I want everybody who's in this community of Muhammad the Prophet, who was with the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad, to value and cherish the Quran. You read it every day. Okay, you know, if you only read one verse, you know, it says فَأَقْرَأُوا تَيَسَّرَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. That says, that's Quran. It says that you read the Quran as much as you can. Each of us is different, so you read it as much as you can. So now we want to see why we are saying this. Sister Fitra, she asked us, you know, this the comment on the second heaven. You know, you have 7 levels of heaven, and the second one you have Jesus and John on there. And this is talking about 2 principles of excellence. It's not talking about 2 men necessarily, but they hold an image and a ritual for us to get the knowledge out of. And so we were saying, when you look at the material world, you see, believe it or not, it says, Allahu khalaqa samawati wal ardi bil haqqi. That it is Allah who created the skies and the earth in heaven, in truth. The earth is created in truth, and the heaven is created in truth. This is the Quran. So you won't find any falsehood in it. But these are 2 things, right? There's 2 things. So it's the same with the human being. When you come into the masjid, it's like the woman, you see. When we are in our mother's womb, we are in a state of peace and paradise, heaven, you see. And in the Quran, it says that you will get your reward in a small part here and the full competence later. Meaning that you are supposed to have heaven now while we live and the full compensation after we pass away. You know? Okay, so when you see the woman and she's pregnant, that child is in a state of peace, paradise, and heaven. Okay? And Allah will not let that child out of that until it is ingrained in every gene and every cell of that small child. Okay? And when that child is born, the mother doesn't have to tell it no for a long time. But once that child starts to crawl, now mama has to say lie. She has to say no. You see? And this is the first thing we learn in our religion, isn't it? La ilaha illallah. No, no, no. You see? And so these are two principles that we find in our religion. So this nature here of the second heaven is talking about the two principles. What are the two principles? The principles of no and the principles of yes. You see? And I've heard people say, well, that's negative. Your religion starts with a negative. Without that negative, you would have no life. Okay? So the mother says no to the little child. He could be 9 months old. He could be walking. No, he's going towards the fire. That no means he has life. No, he's running towards the street. He can be run over by a car. That no guarantees that child life. So the La ilaha illallah in Islam is guaranteeing us life. Don't do anything, lie, no, that will harm yourself or will harm another person. So now we see this is Jesus and John. I hope you can understand the analogy now. When you come to the masjid, what do? Or any sacred place that you want to make salat, and you know, at that moment it's a musalla. No matter where it is, you have to make what? 2 rak'ahs. You see? So you're making 2 rak'ahs, the second heaven again. Meaning that, excuse me, when you first come into the world, you are already in the state of heaven. Okay? It's not till you're around maybe 11, maybe 13 years old for certain, that we can choose with our mind to do something that's against our nature. But younger than that, we don't do anything by our choice that is wrong against some dictate of the Quran or against Allah or Prophet Muhammad. You're too young to know what you're doing. You're just imitating of stupid adults. You're not doing anything as a young child with a choice. You don't know what you're doing. You see? You're trusting that the person that you're imitating, who's an adult, and you're 7, 8 years old, you're trusting that they're doing the right thing. So you won't be charged with doing something wrong. They're charged with doing something wrong. But now once you get 14 years of age and older, now you know you're beginning to be introduced between right and wrong. Now you're on the second principle. The first principle was your obedience to the original nature that Allah put you in. The physical body and all of its aspects is nothing but truth. You are nothing but earth that's walking and talking. The same truth and logic that's in the material matter, that's in dirt, etc., is also in you. All right? So you're encased in truthfulness. Okay? Your body is nothing but truth. That's all it is. It's the mind that can be changed. And I want to speak to some of you who know a little Arabic. You know, you have a concept in Arabic called mabni. Mabni means fixed. Something is fixed. You see? Mabni. Fixed means you can't change it. I'm telling you the truth. Those who know Arabic, they'll say I'm telling the truth. Mabni, I'm sorry. So mabni means it's fixed. It means the physical body itself has been fixed. It can do nothing wrong. It's impossible for the body to do wrong. It is the leader of the body, which is the thinking, that can do something wrong. So you know you have a term in the grammar called, it's from the Arabic term, araba, mu'arab. Mu'araba. I'm sorry, ma'rabu. And it means the ability to change a verb on its end. You see? Because the verb, you can change it. I open the door, he he opened the door, she opened the door. You're saying open the door, but you can change it to say who did it. He did it, she did it, etc. So that means you can make the change on the end. The reason why you can do this is because your mind can be changed. Your physical body is not changed. It's only truthful. But your mind can change. So the body is one, the mind is two. So when you walk in the masjid, you have to make two rak'ahs. And the two rak'ahs is to tell you, you need to be putting yourself on the second heaven. Allahu Akbar. Okay? The first heaven is, as I said to you, is the material world. And it's your physical body. If you obey the laws of the physical world and the mystery, it's going to automatically put you in heaven. Okay? But it is your mind that you have to feed upon truthful knowledge. And that mind will complement the correct body orientation and definitely put you in paradise. You see? Allahu Akbar. This is some teachings, man, that we got from Imam Muhammed, who told us that his leader is Muhammad the Prophet, and his God is Allah, and his book is the Quran. You know? And so I want to say this to you so you will understand. If your soul is in paradise in your mother's womb, and you come out of her womb into this society, and the society is corrupt, you are still in a state of paradise as a young child. Why? Because your mind has not been freed from your nature to get involved in wrong concepts that will bring harm to your peaceful body. You see? So that's the first level of heaven that you're on. See? 6 months old, 3 months old, 7 years old, maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, you're in heaven. I know this is new language for some people because you haven't heard this before. I'm telling you, Allah is God, and He created the human being in heaven first. Praise be to Allah. Okay? And then the trouble comes later. You see? When he's 12, 13, 15, 21, 30. That's when you get into trouble. Not 6 months old, and so on and so forth like that. So you walk in the masjid, you make these two rak'ahs. The first rak'ah is for the physical body's excellence and the excellence of the material world. The material world and your physical body already has you in the state of paradise. I hope you understand this. Okay? The second rak'ah is that I should now find a body of knowledge that I can put into my mind and think with. And that body of knowledge will give me peaceful thinking so that I can make decisions that will be conducive for my body. You see? I'm a simplified. You know I always simplify. Y'all know me. If I'm breathing air, my body's at peace. You see? I'm breathing air. Now, if I have been influenced with the wrong words from this culture, then I will smoke a cigarette. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Now my body was at peace. Now I have made a decision to smoke the cigarette, and what have I done now? I have put my body in hell. Okay? And I'm going to end up with what? Lung cancer. Next example, I'm thirsty. So I drink water. My body's in heaven. But now I take the influence from this world. Okay? And what do? I pick up alcohol. So now what am I going to do? I have chosen to put my body in hell. It takes time to manifest to see the hell, but you're eventually going to come up with a little disease, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So the human being is in heaven automatically. It is the human being on this earth who takes himself out of paradise. And I want to say this to you, simplify it a little more. You know, if you have your keys to your house, you got your keys in your hand. You know you can walk out of your house and go outside with your keys in your hand. And if you don't like the outside environment, then you can do what? Take your keys and go back in your house. Okay? And I hope that's clear. Well, it's the same thing with you as a human being. Thank Allah for Muhammad the Prophet. This is his great wisdom. I'm telling you, man. Woo! Prophet Muhammad, he said, tell the people to tell that the soul is not bad. Say that it is the head that is hard. It's a hard-headed person, but the soul of the person, the body of the person, is innocent. This is his wonderful teachings, you know. And I thank Imam Muhammed for pointing us to us, you know. So we have the tools. Like a carpenter has a saw and a hammer and a chisel. We have the tools of Quran and heartbeat. And we can build the type of individual we want and build the community we want. And we're never going to turn our back on it. We're never going to put this down. We're going to keep using these tools to build New Africa. You hear me? The second heaven is the heaven now that we're talking about. That means that I'm automatically in heaven of the material world, which will never lie to me or hurt me. The dirt won't jump up and slap me. The tree won't swing and knock me down. No, the tree, it'll give me a pencil. It'll make me a house. It'll make me a chair. You follow what I'm trying to say to you? The material matter is going to put you in heaven. But it is the mind that's been deceived and diverted against its original truth that takes that person out of here. So I'm going to go back to what I said. If you have your keys in the house and it's because you're comfortable in the house, your air conditioner is working and it's clean, etc. You come out your house and it's hot outside and it's dirty, you don't like it. You can go back into your clean and comfortable house, can't you? Yes, you can, because you have the keys. Well, the same thing happens with the human being. You may not believe this, but right now, you are in a state of peace right now, okay? Because you are working on your innocence. So you got your key. What is your key? Your consciousness of your innocence, your consciousness of your purity. That's your key, okay? So you can take that consciousness and you can go anywhere in the society. You follow? And if you go into the society and you hear suggestions to get involved in corruption, and maybe you don't like it, you can use your key, your mind, to unlock and go back into your state of innocence and your state of purity, where you're not involving yourself in indecent and wrong activities. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. This is the second level. It's more than what I'm telling you, but I'm introducing you to this now. So what does it mean? You know the story says Allah created Adam and his wife in paradise. You remember that in the Quran. It's in the Bible and other places too. But what I'm trying to focus upon, most people miss that concept. Adam and Eve didn't have to die to go to heaven. According to your Quran, if you read it, they were already in paradise. Allahu Akbar. I pray Allah that you understanding this. They were already in paradise. They didn't have to go to paradise. They were already there. Excuse me. And it was Satan who suggested to them, you see, but they say they eat the forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit for us is alcohol, is reefers, is pornography, is homosexuality, is lesbianism, is anything that is against the original pure nature of the human being. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to make it as simple as I can for the time that we have, you know, and I'm kind of speeding. And I know I speed when I speak to you in the past, but it's because I'm trying to cram so much in such a short period of time. And it's no disrespect to any of you, especially to you, Fisher. You're doing a wonderful job, you know. So what it is in our religion, what it is telling us is that we start off in heaven, you see, and I'm going to tell you this, maybe this will help you like it helped me. The Imam told me this too. It says in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا. And it says in the Quran, and we made your sleep restful. This is the Quran. I think it's the 78th surah. I'm certain it's there. Some of you like to know, but I didn't make the note, but I think it's chapter 70. You'll find it there. It reached there. And we made the sleep restful, which means every time you go to sleep, you go back under the condition of the mother's womb when she was pregnant with you. When she was pregnant with you, you did no wrong. And every time you go to sleep, Allah is so merciful because He puts you in a state of paradise, meaning that you're in a state where you could do no wrong. Isn't that wonderful? And then when you wake up now out of the state of heaven, of your sleep, and then you have to choose for the rest of your waking hours if you're going to choose to stay in heaven of the sleep that you just had, or you're going to take yourself out of paradise. Most of us take ourselves out of paradise. So Allah, for those who believe, that there are many believers, many of them, billions now, He, though we have fallen down, When we follow Muhammad the Prophet and the Quran, He, Allah, through that fellowship, He lifts up our moral body from low-mindedness. You see? Number one. Number two, He lifts up our mental body out of that state of ignorance. This is happening every day, all the time. For you who are struggling with the Quran and the Hadith of Muhammad the Prophet, and to take care of your family responsibilities, etc., etc. And the third thing, Allah picks up the spiritual body out of filth, corruption, pettiness. Allah, He lifts this inner body up and separates you from the lower world that you were once in as a helpless victim. You see? Okay. So the second heaven of Jesus and John, yes, it's Jesus and John. We're not going to say it isn't. That is that, yes. But that's also the second heaven for you and me. That we have to work with this free mind that has this ability to change its nature, you see? And that change can make a change for more evolved intellect, for righteous activities, building communities, building schools. See, that's why we have the free mind. That's the purpose of the free mind. How can I make this community life better? How can I make banking better for poor people? How can I be a better doctor? How can I be a more sincere lawyer? How can I be a greater school teacher? You see what I'm saying? You are putting yourself on the second heaven, and you're putting the community on the second heaven. This is what Imam Muhammad was trying to drive to. This is what Prophet Muhammad is trying. And what it means when it calls it the Ummah, the Islamic Ummah. You see what I mean? The community, the Islamic community that's worldwide, that are all using the free nature of the human mind only to get more information to improve the community life. And this is what we have lost. You see, I'm talking about the world now. I'm not talking about just the followers of Imam Muhammad. I'm talking about the world. This is the world problem. So what happened, the original Adam is the five senses and the intuitive ability. Okay? And I hope you you have to bear with this. This is different than new language. So Adam is senses, your five senses, and Adam is also sentiments. And if you are without sentiments and without human feelings, you're going to have trouble for your own life, and you're going to have trouble for whoever you come in contact with. So it says Adam was created from the dust, right? That means that Adam, was made from what we call the first plane of the dead plane, meaning that the intellect is not involved in material matter. If your intellect is not involved to build material matter, you're dead. Okay? Yes. So we come from that stage now, and we have to rise from that plane to 7 graduated planes. And these 7s are up in the head. I'm trying to make it so you won't think that, this is a spooky thing. It's not spooky. If you look at your ears, that's 2, right? If you look at your eyes, that's 2 more. That's 4. If you look at the 2 holes in your nose, that's 6. And you look at the 1 hole in your mouth, that's 7. If you use those 7 correctly, they will take you to paradise. If you use those 7 incorrectly, they'll take you to hell. You see? So these arrive from the body, you see? And the body is the house of the senses, what we call hearing, seeing, taste, and smell. But if you notice that it's only 4 of the senses that's in the head, right? Your hearing, your seeing, your taste, and your smell. Those 4 are only limited to the head. You can't see with your arm, you can't smell with your elbow, those kind of things. But you have one that goes throughout the entire body, and that's feeling. You see? And that is representative feeling, but it's representative of charity. Just as your feelings go throughout your entire body, charity should be practiced to benefit every human being on the planet Earth. You see? So, again, going back to these 2, talking about Jesus and John, it's talking about, in its first understanding, that we have to say, they say that Jesus and John represent yes and no, the principles of yes and no in human nature, in social life. And the no, people say, hey, that's negative in your religion. I heard them tell me that in college campuses and different places that I speak. They say, oh, see, your religion is negative. And as I said to you earlier, you cannot have life without negative. You have to be told no to anything that's going to harm you. And the first one that tells us no over and over and over again, yes, was Muhammed the prophet. But he told us that paradise lies at the foot of the woman, which means what? That if that woman does not ingrain in that young child no to the things that's going to harm him biologically and harm him mentally, she has crippled that child for life. Because, I can't tell him no. I have to show him love. That's not love. That's death. So we thank Allah for our many beautiful women, of whom Allah has said that whatever good you do, sisters, it will not be lost from him. And let me tell you something, in case you don't know this. In this world, we say Abu Nasr, or we say Ibn Nasr, means the son of Nasr, or Ibn Rashid, the son of Rashid. You see, like this. Do you know what Prophet Muhammad said? This will help a lot of us get a better relationship. We will not be called by the names of our fathers. In the hereafter, we'll be called after the names of our mothers. Isn't that something to think about? Here we say, I'm the son of father so-and-so. I'm the son of father so-and-so. This is what we do in the Islamic language, okay? But Muhammad the Prophet, he said, in the hereafter, you will be called after your mother's name. I think that makes a lot of sense to me, That man was something else, But, it just takes a matter of patience to deal with a lot of the men, okay? But now, this first situation we're talking about is the situation or plane, again, where Christ, Jesus, and John, they represent the spirit that is in matter. One representing matter that holds the whole thing, you see, and all that these seven evolved out of, and that is the material matter of which everything evolved out of, right? We all come out of material matter. But then, when we come out of it and we walk on top of it, we still depend on it. We might not be inside of it depending on material matter, but we are outside of material matter and we can't get away from it. We got to drink its water. We got to eat its steaks. We have to use its wood and so on and so forth to build our homes and houses, etc. So this is the great common sense insight that we have to come back to. And we have to realize that the development of the soul, its path, it has to work its way out of bondage to the physical body. The little creature, he's born here. He doesn't know what his hands are. He doesn't know what his feet is. Little bitty baby put his feet in his mouth, try to eat his feet, He's in bondage to the physical body, you see? So he has to struggle with it. And once he struggles with it, he got to gain his balance. As he tries to walk, he falls down, right? He's in bondage to the physical body. And then he gets up, and now he can walk, he can run, and now he gets excited, right? In that spiritual feeling that he has conquered now the physical body. And now he has to come into the second. And the second one is what? Is the use of his free mind. You see? Your flesh and your mind, you cannot handle it unless Allah gives you the spirit of truth. Yeah. I don't mean you can't handle it like riding a bicycle. I don't mean like that. I mean that this world is so big and they're using so many modern discoveries, the internet and texting and Facebook. All of these things, if they're not properly used, they are tools to work against your development of your mind. You see? Yeah. So the only thing thing that will help us overcome these things, as I said to you originally, is reading the Quran. You got to read that Quran every day. It is more important than you eating physical food. It is more important than you drinking water. It's more important than you breathing in air. The reading of the Quran. Even if you can't read it in Arabic, you read it in English. Because it is feeding and developing your inner body. Yes. And that's what's going on. And we have to remember now, you know how when your clothes get dirty, you take them and you put them in the washing machine. You use Tide, or whatever soap that we use. Well, the human being, he is a non-physical body. He's a mental body. In order to clean him, you cannot use Tide and soap. Not even water. Because you would only be cleaning, the outside of the person, his flesh. In order to clean the person within, the human being is done with what came in to give him birth originally. And the birth that originally came in to give any and all of us birth is knowledge. It brought about the birth of our mind. So that potent seed, that germ of life of the person's mind that causes him to grow is the knowledge. And the best and the safest knowledge is the Quran. So now listen. Jesus, they say he is the spirit. And I won't argue with it. But we need to understand how the man taught us to see spirit. Spirit only means influence. Spirit, S-P-I-R-I-T, is not something spooky, like cigarette smoke going through the air. No. Spirit is influence. Spirit is influence. Spirit is influence. So when we say the spirit of Allah, what do we mean? The influence of Allah. The spirit, the angel Gabriel, what do we mean? The influence. It simply means influence. So now, if you don't have your own spirit, you will not have your own mind. That's really, really something that we have to grasp, And inshallah, with Allah's mercy, we will be able to work with this. Because, dear believers, you who are listening, believe it or not, the spirit is more powerful than the concrete matter. What you do, how we build something, we put bricks together, and we say, oh, this is a strong building, you see. And we think that the concrete matter, of this brick tied into this brick is the strongest thing. But it's not. The strongest thing is influence. And I'll give it to you this way. You heard of the concept of an atom, right? An atom has a electron and a proton, positive and negative, right? And if you could see the electron, you would say, okay, for us, say like it's like the moon. You understand? I'm trying to give you an analogy. And say the proton is the earth, right? And so the electron, it is going around the proton like the moon goes around the earth. I hope you can follow what I'm saying to you. And so what that is representative sensitivity. It represents influence. That the earth and the moon have a sensitivity towards one another. They have an influence on one another that holds them together. And that influence we call gravitational, the law of gravitational, the gravitational law. That's what I'm trying to say, right? The gravitational law is this positive and negative, the electron and the proton, the moon and the earth, right? It's the sensitivity, it's the spiritual reality that holds them close to one another and guarantees us life. You break that sensitivity, you break that spirituality, whatever you want to call it, from the earth and the moon, and they go scatter away from each other, you're going to have problems with life on this planet. You see? Allahu Akbar. So this is our two-level heaven here, you see. And Allah is most merciful in creating these things where we can read these things like you read ABC, and we can get the wisdom that Allah intended for us to get that matter holds. Just like you read a book, you can read His words. So it's the same thing with every material object Allah placed in the world. We're being brought to the point where we can read material matter. And you may say, well, I can't see it. Listen, the books that we think that are so important in the West that we want to study and get our PhD degrees in, our medical degrees, our engineering degrees, etc. Where did all of those concepts come from? Some man had to take a paper, a pencil, and stand and observe the material matter. He put his eye on the material matter, and he wrote down what he saw in the material matter until he got so many pages, then he published it. Okay? So I'm trying to bring you into the field where Allah told Muhammad the Prophet, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa. Read. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't have a book to read. Many of you know that. So what was he reading? He was reading the human nature. He was reading the material matter with the words that Allah had placed in the material matter, which are the alphabet letters. Every planet, every blade of grass, every tree are the alphabet letters that Allah uses to make up the words so that we can read His creation and get and get the lesson out for all of us to work with. Alhamdulillah. I think I have maybe about 10 minutes, and Allah knows I am struggling with it, and I hope you are benefiting from this great insight from our leader Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also from Imam Dr. Muhammad. May Allah grant him the paradise. Yes, and I want to say now the important things in our religion. If we lose sight on those things, then the influences that I told you about, or the spirit, will come in and get the important places in our life. Just like, you have your house that you live in, right? And you have a key, you lock the door, etc., etc. And why do you lock the door? Because you don't want a criminal coming in your house, taking your television, taking your refrigerator, etc., right? You see? You don't want that. Okay. So it's the same thing with your mind. You see? We don't want criminal ideas, corrupt ideas coming into our mind, which is the house that we live in. Okay? And stealing our blessings that we have. So if we don't have this Islamic reinforcement or Islamic protection in terms of what we should believe in terms of what we should have more importance in, then as I said, this influence, this un-Islamic influence is going to come in, and you know what it's going to do? It's going to occupy the space that's not occupied by the Quran and Hadith. Allahu Akbar. Oh my goodness, I hope you're getting this. You bring food in your house, it occupies the refrigerator, right? You get a new couch, it occupies the front room. All right, that's my physical home. But the house I live in is my mind, and it has to have furniture in it. And I hate to put that negative term, it's not a good term to use, but it helped some people. Like me, I was a dummy in the religion. I needed these simple terms, okay? You may not believe it, but I didn't understand it like this when I first came in. It was Allah's mercy. And I still have trouble with it now. I'm still struggling with it, And we want to have the Quran and the Hadith come in, these two things, to occupy us, to put us on this second heaven. Jesus and John, So we have this particular situation, and I want to say this to you, so you will understand where the science is coming from. They didn't come up with this science. They watch and observe Muhammad the Prophet, and they ain't going to tell you. You won't tell me. And that's where they get this concept from. You know what a vacuum is, right? If you have a couch and you take that couch out of your house, what did you do? You created a vacuum, or you created a space or a void, and you can put another couch in that space, right? Yeah, you can. Okay, well, it's the same thing with our thinking. If we don't concentrate and try to keep the Quran and the Hadith in our mind daily, then we have created a vacuum. We have created a void. And nature hates a void. And nature will fill that empty space with something. So Satan, the Satan, he knows the same thing. He watches it. And he said, oh, look at, he watches. You know, and the Quran says he watches from a distance. Okay? So I'm taking the Quran and all these things and bringing it where you can see it on a practical level. So he watches and say, well, he missed his salat. He's watching the football game. He doesn't miss 3 salats. He doesn't miss 5. They watch us. They know that we're supposed to be praying, but they're not praying. So now they come and they're going to fill that space that we should have been using, filling it with our deeds and good deeds. They fill it with the voids. They fill the void with the foolishness of this world. You see? Yeah. I'm so thankful to Allah, the Almighty. And let me tell you this. You probably read in the Quran, because I got about 5 minutes, so I'm going to say this to you. And inshallah, we will come back and revisit it, you know. But in the Quran it says, and Allah took a witness from the children of Adam when we were in his loins. When we were in Adam's loins, first man, Allah allowed us to witness that he is God, that Allah is God. So belief in God is not something that we get from the mosque or the church or our parents. You come in the world with that belief. That belief in Allah, the unseen creator, was in you and me before we were born. Way back thousands and millions of years ago, with the first man, he was asked in his loins, am I not your Lord, Allah? You see? And the witness was given to Allah that he is our Lord. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you that belief in Allah doesn't come with your conscious birth. Belief in Allah comes as a property of your nature. Just like you have lungs, that's your property. Kidney, that's your property. Fingers, that's your property. Faith is also your property, believe it or not. And to believe in Allah means that you cannot understand Allah with your chemistry mind, with your mathematical mind. You believe in Allah, you believe in his angels, I do too. But none of us can say that we can explain Allah to his totality. You see, you cannot use your rational mind to explain Allah's being and his reality. I hope you can follow what I'm trying to say to you. I don't care if you're a chemist or whatever. Matter of fact, if the chemist can show us all of the chemistry, then I might say that he can tell me about Allah. But there's no human being that can give you all the knowledge in his secular, what they call the secular fields of knowledge. You see? If he's a chemist, he can't tell you everything in chemistry. If he's a lawyer, he can't tell you everything in law. If he's a physician, he can't tell you everything in medicine. You understand what I'm saying to you? Even though you have a rational mind, we got all of these great modern concepts of medicine and math. You think that's the end of all knowledge? As long as man is here, he's going to be learning more knowledge. So Allah gave this to him as a sign. If you cannot get all the knowledge in your field, how are you going to know me in totality? Good God Almighty. So the belief in Allah is rational. Now here I'm going to say this to you. I got about a minute left. You know, if you in science they say if you do an experiment in Milwaukee, right? And you can do the same experiment identically in Detroit, and then the same experiment identically in New York, and the same experiment in Germany. If you can do the same experiment all over the world, then they will say that is proof that what you're doing is right and correct. This is how they call it. They call it the empirical sciences. Means that it can be reproduced or reenacted exactly with the same steps anywhere on the planet Earth. You follow what I'm saying to you? Well, belief in Allah is the same way. Belief is done by millions of people all over the planet Earth. And scientifically, they say if everybody has the same experience, then it's got to be the truth. Allahu Akbar. So faith is universal. It's in every human being, and the human being didn't put it there. Even the atheist has faith. His faith is that he doesn't believe. That is his faith. He be there. You follow what I'm saying? He drives his car. He has faith he won't get into an accident. He go to sleep. He has faith he'll wake up. I'm talking about the atheist. There's no human being that doesn't have faith. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's just that they have faith on an animal level. You see? Yeah. Just like any animal. An animal got a place. He has faith that he'll have a place to lay his head. The animal feels that he has faith he'll find some food to eat. You see? I don't mean to be, embarrassing anybody, but sometimes you got to wake up some people. You got to wake them up. We've helped a lot of atheists. They'll tell you. It's wow, man. I never thought about that way. I'm talking about even black atheists nowadays, and we're helping a lot of our people that are crippled with homosexuality and lesbianism. Those are crippling diseases of the mind, Yeah. So we're thankful to Allah. I have to stop, and Sister Fitra, you don't have to make any apologies. These things happen, and Allah gives us these things as the salt and pepper for our life. You see what I mean? If we didn't have these things, life would be boring. Because I'm like everybody else. I'm waiting for some clarity to hear some more knowledge. You see what I mean? So it's going to happen again, and those of you who are listening, just be patient, and things will work themselves out. And inshallah, we'll have another date where we can make contributions to this wonderful program. And the other contributors, our other imams and lecturers and the leaders and our sisters, I thank you for giving your wonderful advice to help this community stay on course in the life pattern that Muhammad the Prophet left for us. We're not confused. We know who our prophet is. There's only one prophet, that's Muhammad. Imam Muhammad was just our leader who led us to Prophet Muhammad. And this is what people have to understand. W.D. Muhammad led us to Prophet Muhammad. He led us to the Quran. He led us to Allah, to worship Allah. He taught us this. And this is why we give him so much respect and credit. Because before him, we had big-time shirk. Okay? He is the one that took shirk out of our minds and out of our hearts. That's why we love him so much. Okay? Yeah. So I thank all of you. May Allah give you a blessed day and a blessed week. And all of us have to work harder. Our faith is intact. We have to now go after the material world, and we have to make it better. Those of you who are listening, you got to go and now become the millionaires. You got to become the billionaires. You have to. You have to do this. But you have to do it for Allah's pleasure. When you get the money, you do it for Allah's pleasure. You see, you become a lawyer, you do it for Allah's pleasure. I do my surgeries, and sometimes I'm reciting the Quran. I'm telling you, I'm reciting Al-Fatiha, whatever it is when I'm doing. And a lot of times the people tell me, they say, "What was that you were singing? That was such a beautiful song. It made me relax." Now they don't speak Arabic, but this is what they tell me, And so when I do my work, this is how I do it. I'm just letting you know. I'm a surgeon. Okay? And sometimes I have patients that can't afford anything. I would do this big-time surgery. I won't charge them a dime. And that's where we got to go, dear believers. We have to look and see if Allah has given me a talent, of which he has given everybody a talent. You got to get busy with it. You got to develop. You business people, come on now. You come on with the millions and millions of dollars, but it ain't for you. It's for the community. Just remember that. That's all. And Allah going to bless you with more money you can handle. Okay? Same thing with the teachers. No matter what field you in, you start saying, "Allah, I'm doing this for you." You see? "Allah, I am your slave." Say this. You see? You say this. "Allah, I'm your slave servant." You say this. "Allah, I am your slave servant." So many of us, we don't know Arabic. Abduka. You say, "Abduka, inni abduka." I am your slave servant. Inni abduka. Surely I am your slave servant. You say this to Allah only. Not to the money, not to the job, not to the husband, not to the wife, not to the kid, not to the imam. You say that only to Allah. Allahu Akbar. And you're going to see your life change, but you got to be sincere when you say it. And ask Allah to help you. And Allah will help you. Yeah. So thank you. May Allah bless you. Say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May Allah bless you with only the blessings he can give you. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil Alemin. Allahu Ekber.